Time is 6:00 p.m. I'll call this meeting of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to order. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Bogner, we call the roll.
Mr. Posey,
Here?
Mr. Morris,
Here.
Mr. Culp,
Here. Thank you. Chief Stiegelmeier, you have the reading of casualties.
Good evening, Board. The following is the first responder casualty list for the period of July the 6th through July the 18th of 2022. Police Officer Lauren Michael Courts, Detroit Police Department, Michigan. End of watch July 6, 2022. Under Sheriff Larry Corrin, Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, New Mexico. End of watch July 16th, 2022. Lieutenant Fred Beers, Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, New Mexico. End of watch July 16th, 2022. And Deputy Sheriff Michael Levison, Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, New Mexico. End of watch July 16th, 2022.
Thank you, Chief. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is recognition of guests and presentations. We would like to welcome Harrison Township Trustee George Gotzi, President of the Montgomery County Township Association, to our meeting today. Thank you, Ms. Gotzi.
Thank you. For being here.
The next item is the consent agenda. Matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote of consent. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. At this time, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I will second.
Mr. Posey,
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Culp.
Yes.
We have no new business. The next item on the agenda is the public comments. This is the portion of the meeting where you, the residents of Miami Township, are invited to share your thoughts with the board. Please note that this time has been set aside from the board to listen to you. Your comments are valued and will be taken into careful consideration. The board will not engage in dialogue at this time. Presentations are limited to 5 minutes each. Would any of the members like to speak? And if so, please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name's Dan Mays. I live at 2536 Loris Drive. I've been a resident for 48 years, 44 years in this house. What we have is our neighbor died. We have 5 or 6 four-bedroom bi-levels. Fuyao bought the house next door. They're running 25 plus men in the house and 2 women. I've contacted everybody. I contacted John Morris. I contacted Alex. I contacted the police, the fire marshal, Montgomery County. Everybody refers me back to Miami Township. They say it's a zoning thing. It's a single-family residence. They're running 25 plus people, and our house is not the only one. They have 2 other houses in our neighborhood. They have one at 6168 Cantata, and they have another one at 2400 Fox Run. I've recorded 38 vehicles that service this house. They have 7 15-passenger vans. They have a whole network of houses with people in them. They're illegal hotels. They have no furniture in them. The people, they have 5 or 6 card table chairs in the house. That's their furniture. They have a series of bunk beds. They have ropes tied between the bunk beds. That's to dry their clothes. They have no washer and dryer. They're like serfs. The buses, I call them buses, they're 15-passenger vans. They have 7 of them total. I've recorded 38 license plates that service this house. The buses service them like 10 or 12 times a day. They run 3 shifts. The other cars, and most of them are luxury Lexus and Mercedes and BMW SUVs. They come, they drop people off, they pick people up. They come there and they'll stay there for 2 or 3 nights, sometimes 2 weeks. But our neighborhood's not the same. You used to be able to go out and sit. Now we have, from me to you, we have 7 to 10 men sitting out on the back porch in their underwear, and they wear bikini underwear, watching us. I've talked to the guy at the other house, same thing. They got 7 to 10 people out on the back porch at any time. But they're not treated right, and the men wander around. They wander around the back, they wander around the front. It's a constant stream up and down our street where they go to Myers and Kroger's. I mean, that's not bad, because there's no law against that. But when you got 25 men plus 2 women wandering around day and night, they jog. Some of them jog at 4 o'clock in the morning. Our dog, wakes up the dog. Dog goes crazy, wakes all of us up. And I confronted them. I took it all I could take it. I was letting, somebody else take care of it. Nobody will. They refer me back to Miami Township, which is a zoning problem. Single-family residence. I called the illegal hotel because Fuyal's operating it. It's not in their name. They have an investment company that bought it, and they're renting it out to Fuyal. But what gets me is we're like an RTA bus stop. The regular 15 passenger vans stop there 10 to 12 hours a day, 10 to 12 hour time, or 10 to 12 times a day for running the 3 shifts. And I've been to everybody. I talked to Tom Young. He said, I'm sorry, but he said it's Miami Township's problem. I feel like we're living in LA where people are allowed to come camp, do anything they want. They don't have to live by the rules. We have to live by the rules we have for 44 years in this house. In 2000, we bought a motorhome. We parked it next to our driveway. Township said, nope, that's the zoning. You've got to back it up even with the house. It's not fair to the neighbors. So I ask you, is this fair to the neighbors? And there's 3 houses in our neighborhood. There's more of them up in the Platte by Waldrew Park. That's why they have so many cars. The drivers don't work at Fuyal. They do nothing but drive.
What's going on?
Thank you, Mr. Mays, for your comments tonight to address Mr. Culp. And thank you for coming last Tuesday to talk. We appreciate your comments. Community Development Department has continued our investigation into these properties. We had previously looked into them. I believe last fall there was another property that was reported. At the time, staff was not able to determine what the exact state of the housing situation was. As I said, we've continued our investigation. We're continuing discussion with our council to determine what we're able to do under state statute. There have been cases that regulate the definition of family that have been under state review. Some of these are continually being reviewed. But again, I assure you, Mr. Mays, we are continuing to look into this. We're continuing to discuss with council what we are able to do under these zoning statutes.
Can I say one more thing?
Briefly, your time was almost up.
They don't mow the grass until it's 18 inches high. They throw their bottles, they throw their beer cans and pop cans in the backyard. They just mow with the mower. They only mow when it's 18 inches high. A man from the restaurant, Fuyal does. A man from the restaurant comes every Tuesday and he loads 10 to 12 bags, 50-gallon bags of trash into this truck and takes it away. Then he pushes their trash cans out just like it's a regular house.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention, and it will be an issue that we will pay closer attention to.
I appreciate it.
What's Ned said about this so far?
I'm
So that,
actually going to say that we not discuss that in open session because it will reveal legal discussions that we might not want to have revealed, but we can set this matter for an appropriate either work or executive session.
I don't see, do you know what's, is everything Ned says is protected?
I don't know that I agree that everything that Ned says is appropriate for discussion in a public meeting, but this is the first I'm hearing of it. I think I would like to have a report on it, and if it's appropriate to have Ned come in and discuss something, I don't want to have Alex accidentally reveal something that we might not want to have in an open meeting.
Okay, when I brought this to their attention last fall, they wouldn't give me Ned's phone number.
Okay.
doesn't allow me to talk to it.
I think that's appropriate, but again, I appreciate your presentation and bringing this to our attention.
Good evening. Matthew Turton, 6600 Jamaica Road, Miami Township. Only a resident for 17 years. Again, I come to the board with the situation at the Stony Hill Event Center. Even though we're in litigation and we're in all of the situations that the township is with the owner of the establishment, I just want you to make sure the board know that even the last 2 weeks since the court case in front of Judge Skelton, there's been at least 3 events, 2 of which have gone until 11 or 12 o'clock at night with disco music or dance music, disco lights, LEDs shining in my bedroom, shining on my porch, disturbing our peace. This last Saturday, and I would like to make a formal apology to the chief in regards to my elevated voice with the dispatch on Saturday. She did a great job in diffusing my anxiety. As the fireworks were going off at 10 o'clock on Saturday night, running our horses, which is not in accordance with the new state law for fireworks, because it is outside the perimeters of what the governor allowed. This was Saturday night. My anxiety went up. My wife took off. She didn't have her phone. She went over and asked the people at the facility if they were going to continue, and asked if they were going, if they were going to stop. If they've stopped now, are you done, so we can get our horses settled down? I don't know if it was the first thing out of the lady's mouth, who was the individual at the facility renting, or, well, not renting, using the facility, because there's not a fee involved with the event center, I guess, at this time. The first thing that she said, or one of the things she said to my wife was, "We don't have a contract with the owner. We're just here having a wedding." My wife did ask them if they were stopped. They were done with the fireworks. I got her back, got her settled down. I apologize again, and I appreciate if you would forward that to her. Seriously, the stress on me, the stress on my wife, the stress on our animals is almost continuous. Friday night, getting it set up. Saturday is usually the big boom. Sunday's usually tear down, but it just so happened that this Sunday we had another event also. I've got everything documented. I would love to show you the firework display, even to hear it or to see it, the violation of our peace and quiet over on that side of the river. I hope we can get things settled.
So what happened at the Skelton hearing? I didn't make that.
Judge Skelton asked that both parties in the case submit a brief for final statements, and we are pending. All briefs are submitted. We are pending Judge Skelton's final ruling. His rough timeline at the time was 3 weeks, which would be this Friday. So Ned is hoping that will be released this week.
Okay.
For the purposes of clarity, and again, I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. For those watching this at home, the property at issue, the township, has been involved in a variety of fronts of litigation with the owner of that property, most recently a motion for contempt for continuing to hold the activities that you're complaining of, Mr. Turton. And so I think that, again, constant reporting is important. We have engaged this individual on a variety of fronts, and we continue to do so. So keep letting us know when you're being bothered by these issues, and we will continue to press the issue in the format and the forums that we have available to us.
I will see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'll be back with more documentation. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is consideration of votes Consider votes of resolutions and motions, and we have none. We have no public hearing. Department head comments. Chief Stiegelmeier.
I just have one brief one. Wanted to remind everybody that's watching and everybody here that Saturday, the 30th of July, starting at noon and concluding at 4, we're going to have our pre-kickoff to National Night Out. We're partnering with the Dayton Mall for this event. There's a lot of good things going to be happening. We're going to have a cruiser car show. We have Care Flight coming in. We have our road department going to be there. The fire department going to be there. A live band will be there. A lot of food, a lot of games and activities for the children. So I'd just like to remind everybody to come out and have a little time with the police department and other members of the public works department and fire department. And we'd like to get to know the neighbors more than we already have. So come on out and have a good time with us.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Schweikert, anything to add?
I have
Mr. Carlson?
I have no comments.
Mr. Snyder?
none at this time.
Administrator Hess?
Nothing.
Ms. Gotze, I neglected to ask if you had anything you'd like to share with the board today.
No, actually, I did not. Just would encourage you to remember our banquet in the fall and to be sure to nominate one of your employees as the recipient of award there. And then also, we would like you to think about sharing videos of some fun things that you've done throughout the year, because we'd like to add that to your thing.
We will make sure we keep that in mind, and our social media person will be sure to send some things your way. Thank you for being here.
I want to make sure that any video of me in a dunk tank are not part of that video.
I think that Chief Stiegelmeier neglected to mention the most important feature of Saturday's event, Mr. Morrison's dunk tank. Elected official comments. Mr. Culp.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that this meeting is a good example of when we start letting down our guard on zoning, when we start pretending like a sign that's too big isn't an issue, when we start pretending like a building at the mall that doesn't belong there is fine. Sooner or later, when we make the statement in the newspaper that zoning just gets in the way, sooner or later the community takes notice and they just start doing whatever they want. And this was not the case 4 years ago. So I think we need to, pay a lot of respect to not only the people that preceded us, who set out certain objectives and plans, but also the zoning board, who presents us with evidence and decisions based on the law and based on our zoning that's in front of them. So I hope we're more diligent in the future about zoning issues. Both of these issues here discussed tonight, one's been here a long time, the other one's brand new to me, but they're both very concerning for me, for this community. So I could say more, but I'll leave it for another day.
Thank you. Mr. Morris.
Only to comment, I have been working with Mr. Mays for a number of months, if not a year, on this issue, looking diligently at ways we can address this. Unfortunately, the country of China has a history of human rights violations, and this is a very difficult issue that we are going to need to address. We have a strong worker shortage in the United States, and it appears as if our friends at Fuyao are making up their worker shortage by importing Chinese labor and packing it into residential homes. So this I think, I may have snickered a little bit before when Congressman Young said this is a Miami Township issue. This goes way beyond Miami Township. This is a state issue. This is a federal issue because we're talking about potential human rights violations and human trafficking coming from foreign nations. So I'm going to encourage this administration to work with all levels of government to address this issue. It's not just a Miami Township issue.
Thank you. I believe I would echo comments from both officials, Mr. Culp and Mr. Morris, in that I think that zoning and meeting our residents' needs are our highest priorities. I think that zoning is a double-edged sword. There are some people that live in a township because it has reduced zoning, and I hear comments from people that think that the current zoning is affecting them too much. In the inverse, when residents are adversely affected by things happening from their neighbors that are outside the expectations of the neighborhoods and the communities we live in, it is our job to make sure that we are effectively addressing those issues with the laws and tools we have at our disposal, and I will encourage and support our efforts to continue to do so. At this time, the last item on the agenda is a work session to discuss the Parks Master Plan, for which we will be adjourning into the conference room and conducting no further business. I will make a motion that we adjourn into work session at 6:19 p.m.
I will second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
We will adjourn the work session, conduct no further business, and adjourn from the work session. Thank you, everyone.